you are being conned into bad health. So on this channel, I help people to lose weight and regain their health. And this is through a vegan, high sugar, low fat, low protein lifestyle. So everyone around me, most people around me, whenever I tell them about this message for sustainable weight loss, so I promote the weight loss lifestyle for life. So that's through the foods I recommend and also through cycling. Whenever I tell people about, well, this is the coaching that I can give you, you can lose weight, you can regain your health, I always get the same response. So essentially that I'm stupid and I'm an idiot. And what you need to understand about why the information, all the information that you're being told, why you need to eat fat and protein, is because a sick population generates money. So in the world that we live in a plutocracy. So on this channel, yes, I give a lifestyle cross of the foods that I eat, foods that I recommend. I've tested everything on myself, so I know that it works, and I'm another human being just like you. So I also try to break through to that 1% of people who will listen and realize, because they didn't realize to begin with, how the world works. So we live in a plutocracy, and when I say 1%, I mean 99% of people will do the same thing as everyone else for their life and just do that, whereas the 1% of people will care about their health. So the 1% of people who are healthy, these people care about their health. They care therefore about what goes into their body, whether that's food or through drugs, for example. And healthy people do not have doctors in their lives. So no, if you've got doctors in your life, you've got lots of doctor's appointments in your notepad and your diary and your journal, and you're on a cocktail of pharmaceutical drugs, you're not healthy. Okay, the opposite is what you are, unhealthy. Okay, and guess, most people, the older they get, are now in the 21st century because of, and I'm going to explain to you why now, through the foods that you're eating, why more and more people are seeing doctors in their lives the younger they are. So it used to be people who are older, maybe people who are reaching life expectancy in the 20th century, who would have more and more doctors and pharmacists in their lives. But now we're seeing people who are in their 50s, in their 40s, people even in their 20s, who are now going to live a life filled with doctors in their lives. Okay, and if you're unhealthy and you want to be healthy, you don't want any the medical industry, you don't want the medical industry in your life. Okay, so you don't want healthcare providers in your life. So the reason why you're unhealthy, the main way we interact with our environment is through the foods we eat. So this is why when people say, oh, they think they're healthy, and I've got other videos on the channel, showing what I eat, but essentially I never recommend animal products, and one of the main reasons for this is bioaccumulation. Okay, so we've polluted this planet so badly now, the air and the water and the soil, we've polluted it so badly. So everything comes from the water, the earth, the soil, the air. So this is where everything starts. And then the plant kingdom, it takes from the soil, the air, the water to create it. So it takes molecules and it builds itself into a plant, and then animals eat those plants, and then most people will then eat animals who've eaten those plants. So bioaccumulation is because we're living in such a polluted world. Through the food chain, the toxins build up from stage to stage to stage. So if you're eating just plants, so you're eating low on the food chain, you're getting less of these pollutants, you're getting less carcinogens, you're getting less heavy metals, you're polluting your body less. So we are just an analogous of the world we live in. We are part of the environment we live in. So everything around you is the environment. So the trees and the grass and the sheep were all one in the same environment, and so we are connected in part of that. So everything we do in industry, for example, we're polluting the soil. The agriculture industry is polluting the soil. Everything we do is just polluting the air. So when animals then eat the plants, the toxins, when they're eating over their lifespan, the toxins are bioaccumulating in their bodies, and then when you eat an animal, you've got all of its lifetime's worth of bioaccumulation of toxins that you're then going to eat. So that's one of the main reasons why I don't recommend animal products. For me, I'm vegan because I can't consciously, my conscience can't allow me to abuse animals. But most people do not have any conscience, and this is why we are living in the world we live in today, where it's just more and more violence, more and more extreme behavior, more and more closer to that Third World War. And yes, history, if you want to learn history, history is just the accumulation again of violence. So the human history, when we talk about what history is, it's just the history of violence is what the human history is. So the reason why being told fat and protein is good is because that generates more money for the industrial complex of the medical industry, healthcare industry, the modern healthcare industry, and when I mean that, I mean literally paying for the doctors, paying for the heart surgeons, paying for the cancer specialists, all of these people, paying for the pharmacists, and also paying for modern medicine, so literally through modern technology. So that's part of the industrial complex. You've also got the pharmaceutical, the petrochemical, and the oil industry. So the pharmaceutical industry is refined petrochemicals, and petrochemicals are refined crude oil. So those three are very closely tied. And then you've got animal agriculture, which is also tied to the oil industry, because the oil industry is very close with the animal agriculture industry, because lots of animals, 90 billion land animals now that we kill every year, most of these get injected with pharmaceuticals. So for example, to increase their growth rate, or maybe through trying to kill pathogens. So antibiotics are then getting dumped into our waters and increasing the chance or the likelihood of living in a world where we have no longer any antibiotics, because all the bacteria has become resistant to antibiotics, because we pump all these animals that are only going to live a few weeks or months, or maybe just a year or two. We pump them full of all of these drugs, they urinate them out into the water supply, and then we'll go from just in 100 years basically from a world where we didn't have any antibiotics to discovering antibiotics to using them so much just to make money from animal agriculture. So that's where most antibiotics get used, is in animal agriculture. They're urinating out all of these antibiotics into the environment again that we all live in, and then we'll go and just basically in 100 years from no antibiotics, discovering them, synthesizing them, the pharmaceutical industry making lots and lots of them, and then because the world's become, all bacteria's become resistant, we'll then go into a world where there's no antibiotics, because the world is just one big environment. Okay, so what happens over there eventually makes its way over there. There's no escaping that. Okay, so what you've got happening is social media going like this, saying, all these spin doctors going, hey, look at this, you need to eat lots and lots of fat and protein. Fat and protein will make you big and strong, and it'll look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You need to eat lots of protein because you need to build lots of muscle to look like these bodybuilders. And these bodybuilders that you see, they're taking thousands of milligrams a week of testosterone and growth hormone and insulin to make themselves look like Hulk. So if they look like the Hulk, they're not natural. That's not normal and not healthy. And most bodybuilders have a life expectancy in the 50s. So they're saying, oh, eat lots of fat and protein's good for you. Eat lots of fat, it'll be good for you. And then you'll die of gout and die of diseases of the old kings and queens. So you've been sold the lie of high fat, high protein. You've been sold the lie of living like the kings and queens of the 21st century. And yet they're going like this, look at this, this is great. And then they're saying, don't look at that back there where you've got millions of people dying from heart disease and cancer. Oh, but don't look at that, don't look at that, don't look at that. And then all the healthcare industry is full of people dying from diabetes. So comorbidities of diabetes and heart disease and cancer and hypertension. So these are what you see because of high fat, high protein. But all you see on social media is, don't look at that, don't look at that horrific health statistics back there. And most people that I talk to who say they want to get healthy, or maybe I'm just talking to people about health, they don't even realize, so if you're watching this in the West, that there is a health crisis going on. So the protein and fat that we are eating that is destroying our health is also destroying the planet, destroying the environment. So yes, I believe that the 21st century, if you're alive now, is the worst time to be alive in human history, because if you live long enough, we'll be able to see the extinction of life on this planet through ignorance. So for the 99% of people who see this video and videos like this and are horrified by hearing the truth, then yes, you'll just do the same thing as you've always done. So you'll be told by the spin doctors going, hey look, eat lots of fat and protein. You'll get fat, you'll get sick, and if you live like everyone else, you will die like everyone else, okay? So I'm choosing with my life and with the videos that I'm making to reach out to those people, that 1% of people who don't want to be part of the problem but want to be part of the solution. So if you want to make the world a better place, it starts with looking within yourself and deciding firstly, yes, I want to live a life based on morals and ethics. So no, I wasn't born vegan. I grew up in the first 19 years of my life being a vegetarian, which does not exist. There's no such thing as vegetarianism, because milk is not a vegetable, fish is not a vegetable, cheese is not a vegetable, eggs are not vegetables, okay? Milk is liquid meat, cheese is horrific, okay, what we do to get that. And eggs, again, the egg industry is horrific. So 50% of eggs, when they're hatched, these little chicks, what happens to the chicks? They go along the conveyor belt because they're male, they don't have any use laying eggs. They go along the conveyor belt, these little beautiful little cute little chicks that you might see on marketing and packaging for Easter eggs. They get hatched, they land on a conveyor belt, they go along the conveyor belt, and they drop into an open macerator with big blades that spin around like this, and they just get mashed to pieces. Or they get dropped into a big black bag, and then someone comes along and ties the top off, and they all suffocate to death. And the milk industry, yeah, milk industry is probably the most horrific industry. So you've got these calves being born, who again, if they're male, they just get killed in front of their parents, or these cows, they're being raped and induced into producing young, which are taken away. And mammals produce milk because they produce it for their young. So if you're drinking all this milk, that means there is a calf who isn't and has been killed for you. And milk probably is one of the biggest carcinogens on the planet. And yes, there is all research available, but you'll never see. And yeah, type 1 diabetes is an immune disease caused by attacking the body attacks its pancreas, and that's because of molecular mimicry. So when you're drinking cow's milk, why would the body attack itself? People would think, oh, the body's so stupid. Well, it's not. It just reads the body, it reads molecules like code, like braille. So it's not conscious. So if foreign protein is getting to your body, you then react to that foreign protein, and the body then, because the proteins are so similar to cow's milk, the amino acids make up the same 17 or 18 amino acids are close enough for the body to then react to itself and kill and attack itself. And this is molecular mimicry. So the protein is so similar in milk that the body misidentifies the protein in its own body. The immune system attacks itself. So that's also why you don't want to drink milk. You don't want to give it to your children because they could get type 1 diabetes. And that's not reversible after 20. And yeah, there are lots of studies that, information that you see, that you can find. And this information that I'm talking about is not in modern day textbooks. It never has been and never will be. So all information that isn't widely available that I talk about, like Walter Kempner, so the foods that I recommend, rice, fruit and sugar, this low protein, low fat, high sugar lifestyle that I promote is based on amazing information available, like Walter Kempner. Walter Kempner treated people with the rice diet starting from 1939 for 4 or 5 decades, reversing chronic diseases before the modern day pharmaceutical industry. And modern day, whenever I say your doctor and your healthcare professional is the mantra of the modern day healthcare professional is match the ill to the pill and send the bill. Okay, so doctors are not taught how to treat the cause of your illness, so like heart disease or type 2 diabetes. They're taught what drug is available, what latest drug is available, and here it is, and give it to them. So you need to fix the food. So if you want to get healthy, you need to fix the food, and that is through a vegan, high sugar, low fat, low protein lifestyle. So the fat you eat is the fat you wear. So that's why I'm lean, because I'm eating at least 500 grams of carbohydrate a day. I stay away from the poisons and toxins as well as I can do, and I've now been vegan for 9 years, and compared to the people around me, I'm always the leanest person in the room. I'm always the fittest person in the room. So for example, I had a VO2 test when I was in my off season. So in my unfittest period of the year, where I'm doing the least amount of exercise, I had a VO2 of about 64, which is higher than most Premier League players, okay, Premier League football players. So just without doing any exercise and just through the foods I eat and being lean and healthy, my VO2 is higher than most of the modern day gladiators. So I say gladiators because that's all people ever talk about. They never talk about their health and how they can get healthy day to day. It's always people around me. Oh, what's the latest football result? Oh yeah, we beat you and you beat us, and that's all it is. You're just discussing the 21st century gladiatorial matches, rather than thinking about, well, the world's being destroyed, my health is being destroyed, everyone around me is dying of cancer and heart disease, they're just literally dropping dead. But then if you ever talk to them about it, it's, oh, you're a bit of a conspiracy theorist, aren't you? But then the only way people ever get motivated is through hate. So at the moment there's a rise in fascism, because the elites who are part of the pharmaceutical industry, the healthcare industry, the elites are distracting you through saying all these foreign people or whoever it might be are causing you to become sick and feeling sick and being down and ruining your life, and it's not. So I promote the bicycle because you can save money, you can get rid of your car. So if you've got a car, you're going to get yourself in debt. You're also always going to be buying a new one to please people that you hate. So you don't need to work a job you hate, working for a company that is sucking you dry of your life force to generate lots of money for itself, and then you're getting sick, you're worrying all the time, and you can save money through getting a bike. Do you really need your car? Do you need to keep buying all of these products all the time, every month, every year, to fill the void of feeling unhealthy and sick? So I ride my bike because it gives me a sense of freedom and adventure. It's amazing for weight loss. The bicycle is the best way to lose weight sustainably because you can do it every day and have fun every day. Your car, if you're always using your car, if you've always got the car at the center of your life, the automotive industry, okay, at the center of your life, you'll never lose weight. You'll always be fit. And then the foods that you're eating, these expensive animal products, okay, so white rice that I recommend is the cheapest food on the planet, and also it doesn't destroy the planet. So if you're eating meat, you got meat at the center of your life, you've got destruction of the planet around you. So meat, the meat industry, or eating meat, this leads to clearing of land, so clearing of trees, for example, for grazing and growing crops. So most of the crops on the planet are being grown to feed to animals who then you've been told you need to eat because you'll get healthy, even though it's destroying the very environment that, yes, your children live in. So that's another thing I always hear is, oh, I care about my children, I love my children, or that's why I need to feed them high fat, high protein. So no, the high fat, high protein lifestyle that you're feeding your children that's destroying their health is also destroying the planet that they live on. Okay? So no, I don't recommend fish. Fish is not a superfood, a health food. And again, you know, we're killing at least between a trillion and 3 trillion fish every year. And we don't really know exactly the number because we catch so much in these huge drag nets that are miles wide that are just dragging up everything, you know, dolphins and sharks and turtles and everything, and sea life. And so we don't actually know how much fish we're killing. It's only measured by weight, an average weight of the size of the fish. But because we're killing fish so quickly and they're not getting the chance to reproduce, the size of the fish is also getting smaller and smaller and younger. So we're probably killing more and more because the actual size of the fish to make up for weight has to increase. And fish that's high in fat, high in protein, and again, the seas are so polluted that if a fish is living in the sea, it's bioaccumulating toxins in its body. So you don't want to eat fish, okay? And heart disease, the leading cause of death in the Western world. Heart disease is caused by a blood clot. So when you think about, well, what is heart disease? Well, it's when part of that muscle in the heart dies, and if you have a large enough heart attack, you drop dead and that's it. There's nothing you can do. So these stupid defibrillators you see everywhere where I live in the UK, we have these stupid little defibrillators everywhere because, and again, is that not an obvious sign? If you're seeing these defibrillators, oh, we have to have a defibrillator in every village and every town because someone might just drop dead. They're not dropping dead of veganism, are they? On a low fat, low protein, high sugar lifestyle. It's because everyone's eating high fat, high protein, or high fat, and they're not vegan. Does it say on the side of the defibrillator, only for vegans, in use if a vegan drops dead in the street? No, it's not, is it? It's just for the everyday person. So heart disease is lots of little blood clots. So if you're having lots of heart attacks before the big one that you're gone, thank you for coming, see you again, never again. These are blood clots, okay, and these blood clots are caused by fat in the body. So atherosclerosis, you see these disease of the arteries. And again, when you think about, so that's heart disease. So that's what heart disease is. So excess fat building up in the arteries and you have a blood clot. And if the blood clot is big enough, it kills you. And if it's smaller, you just get lots of little heart attacks. And again, when you get kidney disease and kidney failure, again, you get hyperfiltration in the kidneys. So I don't recommend high protein because the way the body, the main function of the kidneys, about 70% of what the kidney does is to excrete nitrates. So nitrates are from amino acids, and amino acids make up protein. So you want to keep protein low, and therefore you can keep the workload of the kidneys low. And the kidneys have these amazing filters in them. So the glomeruli is where it filters in the kidneys. It filters out toxins. So the liver is dealing with toxins. Okay, it deals with the toxins in your blood, but the kidneys excrete it into the urine, and then that's why you urinate out waste. No, you don't want to be drinking urine. Okay, so don't do that either. If you're being conned into drinking urine because it's a health food, okay, no. The body is getting rid of waste through the urine, so you don't want to drink that. So when you're eating lots of protein, and especially animal protein, which is high in amino acids that are acidic as well, so you've got methionine, and I think it's methionine and leucine and cysteine are the ones especially high that are acidic. Okay, so these are very acidic, and the way that the body buffers this is by donating protons. So you need to, in order to maintain homeostasis, so the body is maintaining this homeostasis of a pH in the blood, the lower the pH is going, the more acidic it's becoming. The way you buffer that is through alkali material, and the alkali material is mainly in the bones and the muscles. So you're eating lots of protein, and that's why, again, eat lots of protein. Look at this, it's healthy. There's millions of people suffering from osteoporosis and kidney failure, and people are dying of kidney failure. And when people get older, even in their 60s, late 50s, more and more people are suffering from osteoporosis and weak bones. And even the people that I've known that cycle and they have a little fall, maybe in their 30s, for example, just a little fall, they'll break their wrist or the shoulder. And I was hit by a car at 40 miles an hour last year from behind, and I didn't break a single bone, and I was sent along the road, flying along the road, and it didn't kill me. It didn't break a single bone at 40 miles an hour. So yes, you need to protect your kidney function by eating a low protein diet, low protein lifestyle. And yes, the spin doctors are going like this, and they're having a great time because they're making lots of money out of conning gullible people into destroying their health for high fat, high protein, and you're being told that sugar is destroying your life. Okay, you'll find actually if you switch to the low fat, low protein, high sugar, all your health problems just disappear. Okay, you can reverse heart disease, and you can reverse type 2 diabetes. In 100% of cases you can reverse type 2 diabetes because it's not type 1. And if you've had type 2 diabetes for long enough, you might become type 1.5, so the excess fat is going to start damaging your pancreas over. If you have enough excess fat deposited around your pancreas, you're then going to become type 1.5. So even if you do get rid of all the excess fat because you've damaged your pancreas enough, you're just not going to produce enough insulin. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and like and subscribe, and you can check out what foods I recommend. You don't need to be like everyone else, okay? Destroying your health, being conned into destroying your health and destroying the planet. Okay? It's an analogous. So no, sugar is not cancer, okay? So cancer cells, when they're reproducing, what do they need to produce and make their cell membranes? They need fatty acids, okay? It's a phospholipid bilayer or phospholipid layer. Phospholipid, okay? So that's what a cancer cell's made up of. This phospholipid layer, okay? It's not a sugar layer, is it? So lipids are fats, okay? And you get them from eating fat. So, and the immune system, everything runs on sugar, okay? So your immune system that should deal with cancers and disease in the body is fueled by sugar, okay? So sugar fuels every cell in the human body from head to toe. All the organs, the skin, everything that you see is fueled by sugar. So glucose derived ATP. So ATP is what the body uses to power itself. Sorry about the noise. So ATP is the molecule that the that is produced, okay, so primarily firstly through glycolysis, okay, so glycolysis is the primary energy system of the human body. So that gets the mitochondria started. So glycolysis starts the production of ATP. So you've got the Krebs cycle, and you've got oxidative phosphorylation, and then you've got the electron transport chain. So the electron transport chain, happens in the double membrane of the mitochondria. So fat also comes in and disrupts the efficiency and health of the mitochondria. So if you want to get fit and healthy, you need to think for longevity. Low protein for your kidneys and for your bone health, and low fat longevity for always being lean and therefore not becoming type 2 diabetic, suffering from heart disease, and also destroying the ability of your body to produce ATP. So ATP makes you move and jump and dance and do all the non-family friendly things. But on this channel, it's a family friendly channel, so I promote cycling as the best way to move your body. Yeah, dancing's good. And everything happens, and it comes from ATP. And ATP is produced by the mitochondria, okay, and mainly through the electron transport chain. And that comes from oxidative phosphorylation and the Krebs cycle. And this is disrupted by high fat, okay? The high fat causes metabolic damage. So this is what also is causing you to become tired as well and chronically fatigued. So again, a high fat protein means that you're going to get hooked on stimulants, so drugs. You get becoming a drug addict. So you get hooked on coffee, for example. So coffee is the most abused drug on the planet because children are drinking it. Everyone of every age in every country around the world is just addicted to coffee, and it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that's why you see it again being promoted by the spin doctors. Oh look, coffee's great and amazing, but it's destroying your adrenal glands, okay? So give your adrenal glands a rest, leave them alone, and when you cut sugar out your life, you introduce stimulants. So non-prescription is caffeine. That's why it's so abused, because anyone can just buy it. You don't need to go to the counter, which you should do, because it just a very small amount is, as soon as you get just above 50 or 60 milligrams, I would say a day or even a week, you're addicted, and you're already starting to become addicted to it. So no caffeine. So when you cut out sugar, you introduce drugs, and when you introduce sugar, you cut out drugs. Okay, so I don't recommend any drugs on this channel, and the reason for this is because the three biggest killers in the Western world, and therefore in the world, is heart disease is first, then cancer is second, and do you know what the third biggest killer is? Officially, in the mainstream, it's death by prescription overdose drugs, okay? And there was also some study done by Harvard. A group of Harvard researchers had studied and had a look at how many people were being killed by the pharmaceutical industry, and they say that it's underestimated the amount of people who are being killed by the prescription drug industry, the pharmaceutical prescription drug industry. So this is literally people who go to the pharmacy, get their drugs that their doctor told them that they needed to have, and it kills them. So they say that that's actually underestimated, and it might be the biggest killer on the planet is from the pharmaceutical industry. So the biggest killer might be, and it's because there's no official record, it's underestimated, and that's the official, like actual Harvard saying, well, that's underestimated, that it might actually be the biggest killer. So people literally, they go to their doctor and they say, I've got this ailment, which could be treated through a healthy diet, low fat, low protein, high sugar, vegan. It just could be treated by changing your lifestyle. But instead of that, you go to your doctor because you're told, oh, modern medicine is the holy grail, you'll live forever, it'll save your life, you don't need to listen to these these phony vegans who are all conspiracy theorists and weird and not doing what everyone else is doing, which you're told, if you're doing what everyone else is doing, this is the god of popular opinion and you should just do what everyone else does, because human beings are a herd animal. So when you see people around you just doing the same thing, that gives you a sense of safety and the ability to know that, well, if everyone else is doing it, then I'm fine and I can just do it, and you're just reinforcing each other's behavior. So no, we're not predators, top predators. We're herd animals, okay? So when you hear people saying, oh, you should do keto carnivore because, oh, we're the top predators, and no, we're not. No, we're not. We're a herd animal. That's why we just do what everyone else does. So get a bike, sell your car. All you need is the clothes on your back. You don't need to buy lots of things to fill the void of this void in the center of your soul, if you want to call it that. And yeah, like and subscribe if you want. I hope you enjoy the video. I've got a playlist showing videos what I eat in a day for about a month using a CGM, so continuous glucose monitor. You'll be able to check that out. I've got videos showing what I eat in a day, what bike I recommend to get, and I'm getting cold now, so I'm going to go off and do some training, and I'm training at the moment for hill climbs here in the UK, so that will be September 2025 if you're watching this video in the future, and I'm targeting, doing as well as I can in hill climbs here in the UK. So if you've got any comments or questions, if one of my train of thoughts sort of stopped early, because I like trying to do these videos where it's totally unscripted and just challenging myself to take the information that I've learned and read and realizing how the world works and putting it into a video format where I can get that across, and it being authentic and transparent and not just reading from a script like a robot. So that's what you see on social media, is just people who are like, robots, you should take this supplement, okay? So that's what the bodybuilding and health, that's basically the whole health and fitness, culture and influencers. The whole point of it is these people, they take drugs, they look huge, they look ridiculous, and instead of telling you that they've just taken drugs to look like a bull, which is why bulls look like the way they do, because farmers pump them full of pharmaceutical drugs, testosterone and growth hormones, among other things. The whole reason why they do this is just to sell you supplements, to sell you protein powder and whey powder. So there's another one, whey powder. Okay, whey powder is just a byproduct of the cheese industry. So they just literally, they scrape up this, they have this crap that's left, and they go, oh, we got this animal protein. We'll sell it. We'll sell it to people who are listening to the, oh, you need lots of protein. And then people fall for it, because all you hear is, well, if you don't have this, it's bad for your health, and that's what people hear. They just go, oh, it's bad for my health. No, too much protein is bad for your health, and too much fat is bad for your health. And if you say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory, why is there such a health crisis now in the world where everyone around me, and I know that because I'm a human being living in the real world, everyone around me is fat and sick? And I might go out and do a ride here in the UK for maybe, I might do a 100-mile ride, and I'll see 3 people out cycling. Or I might see 3 people out walking their dog, and that's the only reason why they actually get out the house. So yeah, everyone is sedentary as well, because they just go around in their car. And it's making you more and more unfit, and making you more and more fat. So that's the whole point of the fitness and health industry, is eat this new and latest fad supplement, this latest protein powder, this whey powder, and you'll live forever, and you'll look like the Rock, or you'll look like the Hulk. And at time of filming this in September 2025, the latest rounds that are going on in the health and fitness industry is that people are talking about The Rock. So the influence of The Rock, because at time of filming this, he did a film called I think it was something like The Smashing Machine or whatever it was called, The Wrecking Machine, where he was huge, you know, he was probably well over 300 pounds, and then he suddenly shrunk and lost lots of weight, and people are saying, oh, it must be because he's come off his cycles of taking anabolic steroids. And yeah, at time of filming this, he's 53, and he still hasn't, other than him saying when he was young, 18 or 19, he took drugs. Well, I can't say that he took drugs because he's always said that he's not, and he's never said that he has since he was 18 or 19. So I can say yes, he's taken drugs because he took them when he was 18 or 19, but he said since then he's never touched it. But we have an understanding, you know, just a basic understanding that you should understand that if someone looks ridiculous, they don't look natural, they look crazy, they look like the Hulk, then they're not natural. So yeah, if you want to put any questions or comments in the comment section, if I was going down a train of thought and then it came to an end too early, you can put a question in the comment section. And that's what I'm here for, is to help people, to guide them to the promised land, okay? So there is an alternative to getting fat and sick, and you don't need to be doing it, okay? So just eating more and more, so you're told to eat more and more fat, more and more fat, more and more protein, and if that doesn't work, we'll eat more, and if that doesn't work, eat more, and then if that doesn't work, we've got a drug for you. And then you take that drug and that has a side effect, so you take a drug for the side effect and it all adds up and then it kills you. You probably will not be actually killed by cancer and heart disease. You'll probably be killed by the drugs that you're being given that are just treating the symptoms and not the cause. So how many people who get cancer actually die of cancer? How many people who get cancer are actually being killed by the chemotherapy? Yeah. Most diseases now are chronic, and they can be treated through the food you eat, because the food you eat is causing most chronic diseases. Wow, do you see that? See that shower over there? I think I've just missed that shower. It's crazy. So I hope you enjoy the view. There's a shower over there, do you see that? Wow. See that one over there as well? That's why you should get a bike, because you can get out into nature. Get out into nature and free your mind, okay? So you can free your mind. You can free your mind by getting a bike. You don't need to sit in your house and sulk and take drugs and get addicted to feeling rubbish and feeling like you're just surviving day to day. So if you practice the same lifestyle of telling yourself that I'm just surviving day to day and I need to work this job I hate to pay for things that I don't need, working with people that I hate, you don't need to do that. It's not worth being like that, you know, life is short, okay? It's gone like that. So it's worth changing. Vegan, high sugar, low fat, low protein, bicycle, vegan bike life. Look at that. Anyway, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, and hope you enjoy the video. And I'll see you in the next one. Again, if there's anything I missed or anything more you want to hear, put it in the comments. And also, I do personalised weight loss and health coaching. So there's an email at the top of the description. I also I'm going to be at time filming this in September 2025. Getting cold, so I can't really speak. I'm thinking of working on some ebooks as well, so that if you just want to hear everything in a concise message, you'll just be able to pick up one of them and just read that, and you'll have all the all the answers to life, okay? So you'll realize that the Bible doesn't have the answers, okay? So the only thing the Bible is good for is telling you that thou shalt not kill, okay? Thou shalt not kill animals and humans. So live by that. Thou shalt not eat fat. Thou shalt not eat protein. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt be vegan.